Greetings, everybody. This is Dr. Matt Dorsey, Doctor of Acupuncture and Chinese Medicine, also known as the CHOQTOR. And I am, of course, as I'm sure most of you know, if you're regulars, the CHOQ Chief Scientific Officer and Formulator, CSO, if you're not in that whole, long name thing. And yeah, looks like we got a few folks already here. Let me know who's here in the chat. Say hello. Let's see if we've got some familiar faces. So we got several people here, 4 or 5 already. If YouTube says 4, then it's probably about 10 because the number on there is never accurate, I found. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Thanks for being here. OGZ Beauty, seen you before. Aloe Film Productions, hello. Finn Oliver Lee, you look, I'm not sure if you're new or not. Finn, are you a new viewer? If so, welcome. If not, welcome back. So yeah, what's going on with everybody? How goes things? Mr. Babinski, hello. Cool name, Mr. Babinski. Have you been here before? I'm not sure if I recognize that name or not. Like the name though. Finn is pretty new. Well, welcome. Well, for anybody who is new, make sure you stick around because we will be giving prizes away to randomly selected people using our random number generator system that I implemented because I thought it would be the most fair. I was considering for a while doing trivia, but I feel like that would reward people who are really good at doing Google searches, and they would probably win over and over again. So now the only way to win consistently is to be extremely psychic. And Mr. R, of course, has proven his psychic skills beyond a shadow of a doubt with the statistically improbable number of times that he has won. No, mental math has absolutely nothing to do with it, Aswana, but Aswana, you won a couple times as well. No, it is absolutely impossible to mathematically predict a random number generator. It doesn't work that way. These numbers are completely randomly generated, so there really is, there's no predicting it. It's random every time. That's the idea anyway. So yeah, you have to just be plenty psychic. So what's up with you guys? You got any questions for me? What would you like to know about? Do you have questions about 7 Wonders, which, by the way, we are coming out with an even more awesome version of 7 Wonders soon. It'll look the same, but it's going to have even better mushrooms in it. What's up, Mohammed? How you doing? Do you guys have questions on the new Apex, which will be coming out in a couple of months? That one's going to be amazing. Super stoked for that one. Would you like to know about ashwagandha, perhaps? One of probably our best places to start. If you're looking to start with just one herb, ashwagandha is a great place to start. Emmanuel says, do you have lion's mane supplements? No, Emmanuel, but I can virtually guarantee you at some point in the future, we will. And I'm already working with, I've already found a company. It's got really awesome stuff. And we're chatting right now. It's not official, but we're chatting right now about having single mushroom products in powders to where you'll be able to just take a scoop, mix it in your smoothie, put it in your coffee or water, whatever you want to do. It'll mix up really fine it'll mix up really well because it's such a fine particle size. So I'm actually working with the mushroom supplier to use an extra coarse or an extra fine grinder rather, a miller, to get the particles down to like 100 microns or so, something like that, like 100 millionths of a meter, which is pretty darn small. So yeah. Oh, Aswana said, no, I meant about playing mental math instead of random number generator, LOL. Oh, I see what you mean, Aswana. No, unfortunately, because, I want it to be fair. So the idea behind giving out prizes is that I don't want to reward the same people over and over and over again who are good at a certain thing, because then nobody else is going to have a chance. So if you've got a few people who are really good at math, of course, it wouldn't be mental math because there's no way to prove someone's doing it in their head. So it would just be who can type math problems into a calculator the fastest is who would get rewarded. What's up, Mohammed? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Let's see. But yeah, Emmanuel, lion's mane is fantastic. I am going to actually be getting some lion's mane samples in for me to assess and take a look at and see if I like. So keep y'all posted on that. But yeah, that's great. All right. What products would you recommend for memory stuff? So OGZ Beauty, as far as what we have, ashwagandha is actually really good for brain and focus support. One of the reasons it's really good for that is because it does help with that sort of calm focus. Supports GABA, which is a relaxing neurotransmitter. So it helps you be sort of like not as scattered, right? But also it does help through its stimulation of healthy cortisol levels. Cortisol certainly can interfere with memory. Another one that's really good for men is going to be daily, which has nice dopamine support in it. Of course, a lot of people love Shilajit for brain function. When Apex glutathione comes back out, it's going to be probably our single strongest supplement for stuff like cognitive support for memory, focus, stuff like that. It's got that ginkgo in there, but it's got a bunch of other stuff that's all great for the brain. And then also, yeah, of course, 7 Wonders. A lot of people love 7 Wonders for neuro stuff, and Action 2.0. So really a lot of CHOQ products do help with things like focus and memory. And if you ask anybody who's been on one of our CHOQ bundles for a while, or we're going to call them, instead of bundles, we're going to call them stacks, STAQ. So CHOQ stack like that. If you get on one of our stacks, where you're taking, say, for example, Shilajit, Action, Ashwagandha, Tomcat, and maybe Apex or something like that, that's an amazing stack for brain support, for healthy brain support, for healthy memory, focus, cognitive function, things like that. So it's really with CHOQ, it's all about the stacks. You get an incredible synergy when you combine products together. Yeah. All right. And Finn Oliver Lee, you asked a question that unfortunately I'm not allowed to answer because it's not legal for me to do that. So just so y'all know, just a quick refresher. If you guys ask me like, what do I do about this disease? I can't by law say anything about that. CHOQ would get in a bunch of trouble for that. So that's just kind of, unfortunately, that's how it works. You're allowed to say, for example, how can I support a healthy immune system? Or how can I support healthy mood and focus? But you can't say, how do I treat fill in the blank with disease? That's just against the law, unfortunately. So just FYI, it has to do with how y'all word y'all's questions, if I'm allowed to actually address them or not. Yeah. All right. So, all right, let's see here. Do you have writings on how to know if a supplement is done right? So Finn Oliver Lee, just to tell you, like, you have to be basically very, very well trained to understand how supplements work at all. The average person who hasn't been in the industry and who has no, scientific or medical training has virtually no idea what they're doing when it comes to supplement quality. And unfortunately, a lot of companies take advantage of this by doing weird stuff. I'll give you a great example. So do you guys know about proprietary blends? I'd like to, Fins, if you're interested in supplement quality, I'm going to link to this great video called Proprietary Blends, They're Trying to Trick You. I think you'll enjoy this one. So Finn, check this one out really fast. This is me talking to a person who's interviewing me about proprietary blends. Proprietary blends are pretty messed up. They're a way of companies basically obscuring what's in their products by not giving you the total of each individual product, but just the total milligrams of all of them put together. CHOQ does not do that. We will never do it. We are called a full disclosure labeling company. We're one of the only companies that does that. Hardly anyone does that. So every single time you see a CHOQ product, you're going to see every single ingredient and the exact number of milligrams of that ingredient. So you're getting an active dose. You can do your own research. We use active doses for everything. We don't use tiny, tiny microdoses on stuff. If we use a smaller dose, it'll be maybe a half dose, which still does something. It just means it's not the chief herb in the product. Yeah. But yeah, it's really, really, it takes a lot of very specialized knowledge to actually understand supplement quality. I could literally teach probably an entire 2-week class, at least a weekend seminar on supplements. And I probably will at some point because it takes very specialized knowledge to understand this. There's so many different areas. Part of it has also to do with just the way supplements are made. When you're talking about vitamins and minerals, you also have to know about different molecular forms. So for example, comparing all the different kinds of folate, right? You have folic acid, and you have methylfolate, right? You also have, in the natural world, you have dihydrofolate. You also have formylfolate. You have tetrahydrofolate, right? And who the heck knows about this, right? Very few people. Even a lot of people in the industry don't know about this stuff. This is intense information. And so to really know supplements, you have to be one of the rare experts out there. Just to be frank, there is no one book that just teaches you this stuff. There really isn't, unfortunately. I wish there was. And if there's one out there that teaches you all of it, then y'all let me know, because I'd love to be able to give that to people so they can educate themselves. Yeah. And yeah, Finn, no worries at all. It's just, I just have to explain to y'all how the law works, and as much as I wish I could just tell you guys information on how to treat different issues, because I just like to help people, obviously. It's just we could get in a lot of trouble for that. Our lawyer would be very mad at me if I was like, here's how you treat this disease, guys. It's just kind of super not cool. And plus, CHOQ is we're a little bit of a outside the box company. As some of you guys know, we have we keep it real in a lot of ways, and so we have to be extra careful with regard to this stuff, obviously, So yeah, that's the deal with that. I just want to say, why is the law such a pain in the ass stopping you speaking freely? I don't know, but I don't make the rules. I just got to follow them. Make sure that CHOQ stays out of trouble. That's all. Gotta do what you got to do to stay out of harm's way. All right. Plus, at the same time, I mean, if I was trying to tell you guys, that really is kind of an intense thing, telling you guys how to treat stuff, and that's really something that you should be dealing with a talented natural medicine practitioner with a lot of the time anyway, because it's not a one size fits all thing. It's not like, hey, if you have this, do this all the time. It depends, right? On the whole situation. So I try not to give too many blanket statements anyway. It should be a more individualized thing. And, a lot of the time, even though I encourage people to educate themselves and to do what they can, it's also important to find a really good natural medicine practitioner to work with one-on-one. Somebody who's good, obviously, which that can be hard to find too, because a lot of people don't know what the hell they're doing, but that's another story. I'm pretty on it today. I don't know. Can you guys tell that I tried my new experimental formula? That's right. Working on that CHOQ pre-workout powder blend right now. And I just took version 0.4. In the software world, version 1.0 is your first release, right? So we're still in the beta testing phase. So I'm calling the version I took today CHOQ pre-workout blend version 0.4. I won't tell you the actual name yet because that's kind of a secret. But let's just say I'm working on a very, very potent product. It's going to be pretty insano. And the version I took today is the strongest version of it so far. And I was very impressed with the results. I did 30 push-ups without really feeling winded hardly. And that's usually a pretty good sign. I max out before I hit 40 usually. And I don't do push-ups every day. If I did, I could probably do a lot more, 50, 60, 70. My max is usually closer to 40 push-ups. But if I can do 30 and not even feel that winded by the time I hit 30, that's a sign that probably whatever I took is doing something good, So that's kind of one of my indications for that. So yeah, really excited to be working on that particular one. And yeah, so somebody's asking about the keto thing here. Let's see here. All right, what is somebody saying? If you have an imbalance of any kind that is worsened by carbs, would keto be best then? So Finn, actually, Finn, I can tell you're new because you probably don't know my stance on keto yet then. Finn, I'm actually going to be doing something called the dark side of keto pretty soon. And let me explain this in a little bit. By the way, guys, just a quick announcement. I've pushed back the dark side of keto quite a while for a couple of reasons. So I was going to do it this week, and a lot of other stuff has been going on, and this requires a massive amount of research, so I can link back to all the different studies for you guys on this. It was going to be this Friday. I thought about making it next week, but that was Thanksgiving, and I was like, well, Thanksgiving, everyone's got a lot going on. We probably won't have a lot of people tune in if we do it next week. Plus, do you really want to be reminded about high-fat foods and how bad they are for you right before Thanksgiving? Kind of a bummer. So I'm doing it actually for the week after. So now, the dark side of keto is going to be in 16 days, December 3rd, Friday at 6 o'clock Central. It'll be probably about 90 minutes to 2 hours. And Finn, just to explain, it's almost too much to explain. But what I will say is carbs are not the enemy. They're never the enemy. And actually going on a high-fat, low-carb diet actually worsens your insulin function. Most people don't realize this. You don't know it's worsening your insulin function because you're not putting any carbs into your body. But as soon as you put a normal amount of carbs into your body, you're going to have an exaggerated negative response to those carbs because the high-fat diet actually interferes with glucose utilization at the cellular level, interferes with your cell's ability to take glucose from the blood and convert it to ATP. Again, I know I'm talking very fast right now. I think this is kind of probably proof that my new creation is working because I've been pretty darn high energy today. This stuff is amazing. I can't wait to get it out to you guys. The CHOQ CHOQ pre-workout insano mode. Like I said, and I know Mr. R, I piqued your interest because it's literally going to be the single strongest product that CHOQ ever puts out. And we put out some pretty strong products. So, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, like it's going to be like where if you take 2 scoops, it's like insano mode. And then 1 scoop is like pretty awesome. My goal is to make it to where 2 scoops of this stuff is actually too much for some people where they're like, dang, I don't know if I can do this, you know? And of course, you know, the challenge is to do something like this, but to do it all natural with all the junk that you find in those nasty GNC products. You know what I mean? So yeah, Mr. R, I can't tell you what it's called. That's a secret right now. So for now, we'll just call it the CHOQ pre-workout powder. But the official name is a secret. Obviously, we have to do that to stay competitive because if I put it on here, then it takes us 6 months to bring it out. Some other company could steal the name, you know, and use it because it's actually a pretty awesome name. Of course, we could change it before then anyway. So. But yeah, we'll just call it the pre-workout, the CHOQ pre-workout blend for now. And from a formulation standpoint, the really cool thing about it is that a powder is awesome, right? Because with when you got to limit yourself to a capsule, right? You got to fit everything into about a 750 milligram capsule, right? And so if you want to make something really strong, you know, there's certain things you have to leave out, right? Because like some ingredients you need to use multiple grams of, you know. So for example, amino acids, you know, you want to use like 3,000 milligrams the dose. Well, that right there is like 4 capsules, right? When you're dealing with a powder where you can just do scoops, totally awesome, right? The only limitation is you can't put Tomcat in a powder. This would ruin the taste and it would be horrible. But other than that, you've got huge doses you're capable of using in a powder form, so you can really unleash the beast, so to speak, without being limited by the capsule size. So as a formulator, that's really exciting that I get to work with that. Yeah. All right. As Juana says, some companies say they're scared of other companies stealing their formula, so they don't specify how much of each they put. Yes, as Juana, ostensibly, that is the idea, right? Is protecting your IP, your intellectual property. But here's the downside of that. This enables companies to basically essentially lie to you without lying to you, right? So if you have a list of a bunch of different stuff, the last thing on that list, the last few things on the list could literally be like less than 1 milligram. And that company is technically not lying to you because the ingredient is in there. So there could be like 0.5 milligrams of rhodiola, 0.6 milligrams of CoQ10, right? And as long as there's some rhodiola in there, some CoQ10, a micro dose, then they're not breaking the law. But to you, the consumer, you're like, oh, I'm getting all this great rhodiola, and I heard CoQ10 is really good for my heart and my brain. And it's literally doing nothing. It's such a small dose, it might as well not even be in there, which is highly unethical. And I've seen it. Companies actually do this. I've actually seen a manufacturing sheet that designates from a company to a manufacturer how to blend something. And I've seen the proprietary blend on the label, and then I've seen their instructions for the manufacturer, and companies literally do this. So being in the industry this long, I actually am the one who pushed CHOQ, the company, to never use proprietary blends. And it's something that most companies don't want to do because, oh, hey, they might steal our stuff. Well, you know what? If you have a brand identity that's strong enough where people trust you and they know that you mean business, that is more important to me than this whole we can hide behind our special sauce stuff. You know what I mean? So there you have it. At the same time, though, there are certain things that are IP, like sourcing, for example. Like, let's say I find the one company, the one grower that has the best mushrooms, right? You know, that's also a secret, right? Like I'll tell you guys, like, here are the labs and the mushrooms on it, but the exact source, that's IP, you know, and that should be IP a lot of the time, you know, because it takes a lot of work sometimes to source these things. All right, let's see what else we got. All right. Solar protection cream do you use? Do you mean sunblock, Marius? Yeah, I don't use sunblock, actually. I have talked about that one before, but if you do need to use sunblock, just make sure you find a really high-grade one. I think Alba makes pretty good stuff. Stay away from the chemical nasty ones and only use the reflective ones, the mechanically reflective ones that contain zinc oxide, and make sure that the zinc oxide is non-nano. So they do have nanoparticulate sunscreens that do use these mineral forms of reflector type minerals like zinc oxide. and that's usually fine. But if it's in a nano form, that's not good because it's going to actually soak way more into your skin, into your cells, and that's not necessarily what you're going for. So make sure you don't do that. All right. So yeah, Finn, though, if you're interested in the whole keto versus carb thing, definitely tune in on December 3rd. And again, sorry for pushing that back, guys, but it's going to be super epic now that that I've got so much more time to research it. And we'll have Thanksgiving already done, so we don't have to worry about that. But definitely, Finn, tune in for that. That's going to be a really epic one. I mean, I've gone through, Finn, if you want to look through the last maybe 4 or 5 of these I've done on the YouTube, you'll see some of the things that I've mentioned as being important in terms of understanding the underlying biochemistry of how carbs and fat actually work in the body. And it's not what you think. It's really not what you think. And in fact, actually, let me just, there's a great video from nutritionfacts.org. They're a nonprofit. They don't sell supplements or anything like that. So I'm happy to link to them. And this is actually a really easy way for you to look something up on this. So Nutrition Facts, keto. All right, check this out. So watch this video, guys, when you get a chance. It's 7 or 8 minute video by Dr. Michael Greger from nutritionfacts.org. It's called, "Does a ketogenic diet help diabetes or make it worse?" And in actuality, here's the thing, is that a ketogenic diet, you think that your diabetes is getting better because your blood sugar is going down. It's actually making it worse, because here's the deal. You're not cured of something like this until you can actually eat a normal amount of carbs and you don't have a problem. You can't do that when you do these low carb diets, because what's happening is you don't have any carbs coming in. And so you'll measure your blood sugar via A1C or flat fasting glucose, and you think that you're actually getting better, right? Because the blood sugar is going down. But there's something else called an OGTT, oral glucose tolerance test. This is a third kind of a way of measuring blood sugar and insulin. It's completely different. This is a test that actually challenges you to see what happens when you drink pure glucose. You drink a bunch of pure glucose, like 100 grams or something. Then they test your blood sugar to see how well your body can clear those carbs out of the blood. If you've been on a keto diet for a long time, you're going to fail that test miserably. That kind of proves that really what's happening is you're covering up the fact that you have these issues. You haven't really actually fixed the process. So high fat actually has horribly deleterious effects for blood sugar, and people have no idea. So very important to know that. Let's see here. What else we got? Welcome, Trion. Welcome, Andreas. All right. Matt's asking about NCAA regulation. Matt, I can't tell you 100% on that. The stuff that we use is very natural, but I haven't looked into NCAA regulations specifically. So you might want to just, look through it and clear it. There is a certification you can get as a supplement company by NSF, this company called NSF. That's an official certification for sport regulate thing. And we might get that in the future. Again, we have to pay a bunch of money to get these certifications. And so that will be reflected in the cost of the product, right? We have to make the product more expensive if we get one of these certifications. But of course, we might consider doing that for some of our sports related products in the future. So you might just want to just to double check, if you're playing, college ball or whatever, you might want to maybe talk to the right people at the NCAA or whatever. Is the source and lab thing different? A lot of CHOQ products state the source, like LJ100. So if it's a trademarked ingredient, then yes, you absolutely know the source, right? If it's not trademarked, then you don't. That's the deal. So for something like LJ100, yeah, you can look at the company who produces it. You can know everything about it, but not everything we do is trademarked. So, for example, some of the ingredients in Daily are not trademarked, right? Most of them are not. So, our tribulus, our macunapurians, our soft fed muesli, cacao extract. So those are not trademarked. So those are just ones that we have to source ourselves. All right, let's do prize number 1. I think it's time, guys. So if this is your first time, here's how it works. You have 1 minute starting exactly right now to give me one number between 1 and 100 in the chat. And also, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everybody, if you can, make sure to like this video, leave some comments if you can, subscribe to the channel, do all that annoying stuff that YouTube people ask you to do. And you have 43 seconds right now. So again, make sure to, in the chat right now, give me one number between 1 and 100, only one entry. Anyone who comes in after the timer will not be counted. And whoever is closest to the random number will win prize number 1, which, of course, for those of y'all who know, is one of any CHOQ products. So, yeah. All right. Now let's do some stretching here in the meantime. But yeah, if you can, again, I know it's annoying to hear this over and over again, but please like this video. Make sure to share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the dark side of keto. Oh, and there's the timer. So we are done. All right. So the number was 54. Who came closest to 54? Let's see. Oh, Glow 120 with 53 right there. I believe, Glow, you are the winner. Excellent work, Glow. Glow 120, you have officially won prize number 1. So congratulations. Everybody give Glow 120 a quick round of applause. Glow 120, maybe you already know this, but you want to email CHOQ@CHOQ.com and just tell them which product you would like. Pick any product you like, including a t-shirt or cacao beans or any of our supplements, whatever you'd like, and they will send it to you for free. So there we go. All right. And stick around. We'll do prize number 2 sometime in the next probably 15 minutes or so. So make sure you stick around. But yeah, again, I know it's annoying, but if you guys can, just make sure, please, you always like these videos. It really does help us quite a bit. Just, been doing whatever I can to hustle and really build this YouTube channel. And let your friends know. If you have any friends who don't have a lot of money and they want a chance to win free supplements, this is a good way to do it. And also recently, I have been trying to, at least some of the time, do the first prize giveaway within the first 5 minutes to reward people who show up early. So if you want to optimize your chances of winning, show up at the very beginning if you can. Once again, here's the link to the dark side of keto right here. If you guys could also just give that one a like, and you can also set a reminder. Again, I know it's a couple weeks out, but we'll try to build some momentum on this one, and it will be chock full of scientific references. I won't just be making arguments in a complete vacuum without backing them up. Just know that. Yeah. If you have any keto friends, let them know. They might be a little irritated, but that's the way cookie crumbles. So in 16 days, we'll be doing the dark side of keto. And yeah, if anybody hasn't liked this video yet, I see we've got 14 people on here and still only 8 likes. Last time I'll say it because I don't want to be super annoying, but if you wouldn't mind, just right now in this exact moment, as you're watching this, just go down to your phone or your laptop and just click the like button really fast, unless you hate what I'm doing. If you hate this, then don't like it, right? But if you wouldn't mind, just right now, every single one of those likes really does help us. Those metrics are all super important. Comments are also really important too. And of course, you can always comment on any YouTube video. And once in a while, I go through and I'll answer any questions because comments really help us a lot too. So please leave some comments and I'll go back and answer your questions via the comments, as long as it's legal for me to answer your comments, obviously. So yeah. And I just see some people liked the video. I see the likes going up. So I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. I try to do that myself as well. Anybody who I think is doing good stuff, I always try to give them a like because I know it helps their channel tremendously. Okay, Roy says, shall I take all the products or is the most efficient stack to cover all the bases? So Roy, also what time of day is best? Roy, time of day doesn't matter that much, but if a product is a little bit more stimulating, like maybe a daily for some people, you might want to do it earlier in the day if you're sensitive. Like if you take daily in action at 9 p.m., it might possibly, be a little bit overstimulating for you. Other than that, though, it doesn't matter that much. It's really totally up to you. At the same time, though, if you want to create a stack, it also depends on what you're trying to get out of the stack, So Roy, if you want to tell me what kind of stack you're looking to create, like what functions you want to serve, I could certainly create one for you right now. Vin says, I will let Jay and Tristan know how keto is bad. LOL. Yeah, go for it. It's all good though, just because we don't all agree on certain topics doesn't mean we can't be homies. I think right now there's a problem with a lot of stuff online, and just where it's like, hey, if we don't agree on this topic, then you're a bad person and I hate you. And like, that's not how adults behave. It's cool. It's like we can debate stuff, have different opinions, and still be homies. I think that's honestly that's how adults should behave. We should all be able to be like, I believe different things on this topic than you, and that's fine. It's not a big deal, so it's all good. We can't still all be friends if we don't agree on everything. But yeah, happy to debate or whatever. It's all good. And I will say, obviously, keto is very seductive because you can lose a lot of weight on it. So there's no arguing about that. Clearly, you can. And then at the same time, it's also seductive because you have the illusion that your blood sugar is getting better because the number's going down. And it seems inarguable. It's like, oh, the number's going down. I might as well. Obviously, my insulin function is better. Actually, it's worse. It's not better, really, ever. But you do have the illusion, which is, again, very seductive, that it's getting better because that number is going down. So it kind of sort of makes sense, right? At the same time, also, certain body types will do better with keto, and people will feel a lot better. And there can be some mental benefits to doing keto that people report. And those are all real. It's not like, those aren't real. So obviously there are benefits to keto, or else no one would do it, but there's benefits to a lot of things that are good for you in the long run, right? There's certain addictive illegal substances out there that do have certain benefits, right? That people probably shouldn't do very often. So yeah, putting that out there. Let's see here. Andreas, unfortunately, I can't answer that question because it's not legally compliant. Roy says mood, focus, immune, blood flow. Okay, cool. So if you're looking to support healthy circulation, healthy mood, healthy focus, and healthy immunity, here's what I got for you. Definitely Action 2.0. Great for circulation. Has the grapeseed extract in it. It has capros in it, S7, things that boost nitric oxide. And then also obviously amazing for mood and focus. It's got that rhodiola in it, which helps with neurotransmitters, helps reduce the breakdown of serotonin and dopamine. Really, really awesome product for all of that. Of course, for men, daily, huge when it comes to mood and focus. It's got that L-Dopa in there from the Mucuna pruriens, the direct dopamine precursor. Shilajit for mood and focus as well, and all that. And then, of course, if we're talking about immunity, 7 Wonders is an excellent choice. Apex glutathione is one of the strongest things we have for immune purposes, but of course, it is unfortunately not on the market right now. It's being reformulated because they take the NAC out. That would be a really good place to start. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Armor, of course. Number one for immune support is going to be Armor. So daily action, Armor, Apex, and 7 Wonders would be pretty awesome for that. You might also want to consider the ashwagandha, especially if you're looking for healthy cortisol levels, healthy stress levels. That's a really big one. Yeah. All right. Finn says, I suspend my beliefs between camps at this point. Finn, I don't blame you. We all say such contradictory things. It's hard to know, right? It really is. Really hard to know. Yeah. And also, of course, there's individual different body types. Like if I try, which I have, to go on like a low carb, high fat diet, it's an absolute immediate disaster for me. It makes me feel horrible. And so it's easier for me, based on my personal experience, to identify, the downside of this, because my body rejects it as if I drank a poison, right? Carbohydrates are absolutely essential for my body type. Other people are probably genetically distinct, and perhaps it's better for them, relatively speaking, So, it's not always one size fits all. Certain genes, things like that, could have an influence on that. Also, I will say that men do much better on keto than women typically. It's a lot more disastrous for women, in my experience, just as a clinician, than it is for men. So, yeah. All right. Mr. Babinski, unfortunately, can't answer that question. Funny, though. Funny. Yes, Aswana can't answer that question. Finn is asking, does CHOQ reverse soyification? That one is not illegal for me to talk about. So Finn, if you're referring to perhaps the negative endocrine system effects of eating soy, I really couldn't tell you that. What I will say about soy, though, is that I don't recommend people make soy a staple in their diet. I think eating it on occasion, if it's definitely organic and non-GMO, is not a big deal at all. One of the main things about soy is that if it's not organic non-GMO, then it's almost guaranteed to be genetically modified, in which case it's going to be sprayed very, very heavily with pesticides, which are horrifically bad for you. Now, whether soy without the pesticide GMO part, whether it's inherently bad for you or not, is a matter of debate. And that's a tough one. It's a really tough one because some of these soy isoflavones that are supposedly bad for you in terms of pushing estrogen receptors actually can help to displace some of the worst estrogens that are floating around in there, and they might actually not be so bad. But at the same time, even if you're eating organic soy, there's a lot of drift from crops, and even if that soy has been certified organic, some of it still could be contaminated by GMO soy. So with a crop like that that's so popular, GMO, yeah, I wouldn't risk doing too much soy personally, so you definitely don't want to be eating it every day, even if it's organic non-GMO, but a little bit here and there, organic non-GMO, probably not the end of the world. Not nearly as bad as some of this other stuff. Canola oil is probably worse for you than organic soy. If you had to pick canola oil versus organic soy, I would take the organic soy over canola oil. Canola oil is just as ubiquitous, if not more, in restaurants. I mean, yeah, it's all over the place in restaurants, right? So canola is pretty bad stuff. Nastier than soy, in my opinion, in terms of toxic foods, so you have to prioritize to some extent too. There's a lot of stuff out there. Obviously, you have soybean oil too, which is kind of similar to canola, but canola highly inflammatory. Corn is another one. Corn just as bad as soy, if not worse, when it is not in organic form. Really, really nasty from a GMO pesticide standpoint. Awful stuff. They put some really, really gross pesticides on corn. If you want to learn more about that, check out atrazine. You guys know about that whole atrazine story? Yeah, that one's pretty intense. So there's a CHOQ blog on here. There's a blog article on our website here where I talk about Tyrone Hayes and the atrazine story. This is a really interesting one. I like to plug this blog a lot. It's called Works Living Through Chemistry, or the full title is Hormones Under Fire, Works Living Through Chemistry. That's a really awesome one. You can check that one out if you want to learn more about pesticides. And we're getting toward the end here, so I think it is time to do prize number 2, everybody. So you know the drill. Timer is on. You have 1 minute to once again give me a number between 1 and 100. And if there's anybody out there who is enjoying this video and you haven't hit the like button yet, then maybe take this time while we're waiting to hit the like button if you can. Sure does help us. Every like helps. Every little like helps. Hopefully in a year or two, we'll have 10,000, 20,000 subscribers. That sure would be awesome. It's a little bit harder to build YouTube subscription than it is Instagram and other stuff. It's been a little slower going. So if you can, share with your friends, tell everybody they can win free prizes and ask the CHOQTOR questions on here. Sorry for referring to myself in the third person. I try not to do that, except for in a tongue-in-cheek, fun kind of way. Yeah. All right. So how much longer you guys have? You have, oh, wait, that's time. So, okay, done. And the number was 35. JJ has 34. JJ, are you the winner? Yeah, nice job, JJ. You are the official winner because the number was 35. You were 1 away. So, JJ, you won prize number 2, which is a bag of organic heirloom cacao beans and a premium organic made in the USA CHOQ t-shirt. So, congratulations, JJ. Well done. Well done. I think you almost won the other day or something, and then something weird happened. So I'm glad you got to win, unless I'm confusing with somebody else. Maybe it was JR. I don't know. But either way, JJ, that's awesome. Glad you got to win today. Yeah. And, oh, hello, Laura. Welcome. Welcome. Laura, your 55 did show up, by the way. Yes, it did come through this time. Yeah. So, all right. Well, probably head out here in just a second, but you guys got any questions for me before we head out here? Anything else on y'all's mind? Oh, I do see Aswana asked, was Shilajit the first ever CHOQ product? As one of the first CHOQ product was CHOQ Men's Daily, actually. That was the very first one. That was before I was in CHOQ, actually. Yeah, back in the day. And then Shilajit was right after that. Yeah, those are the first couple. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. I grew up as California. Does that qualify for being a GMO millennial? That's funny, Finn. Yeah, well, it's so much as GMO now. And it's like if you go to any mainstream grocery store and you buy any kind of processed product off the shelf, if it's not organic, it's virtually guaranteed to be filled with GMOs. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of people out there who in the more mainstream perspective will say, oh, GMOs are totally safe. They've been through lots of safety testing. You'll ask them, can you tell me about the safety testing that GMOs have been through? Could you maybe enlighten me? Have you actually ever looked into the safety testing? There's not much. If you want to learn more about this, read a book called Seeds of Deception. I have to admit, I'm kind of bad about finishing books. I think I read about half of it. But even the first half is just like devastatingly brutal when it comes to the reality of GMOs. It's pretty intense. Absolute lack of safety testing, virtually zero safety testing that's remotely relevant to humans, especially long term. And when we're doing GMOs, obviously the first thing to know with GMOs is that it allows you oftentimes to spray the crap out of those crops where you can just hit them and hit them and hit them and it's not going to affect them, right? Because you're genetically engineering pesticide resistance into the crop. But on top of that, you've got all sorts of other weird stuff going on. One of the things to know too is that people will assume, hey, the genes that we're putting in these plants are probably just from like other plants or something. No, we're putting viral genes in some of these plants. And so the author talks about that in Seeds of Deception. Here, let me just link to, I don't know if it'll let me do this, but because sometimes these Amazon links are, let me just, Seeds of Deception. I'll do a non-Amazon link for you guys. But yeah, definitely y'all check this one out. This is a really cool, I'll just link to the website here. Really amazing book. It's written by this guy, I think he's a lawyer actually, who's done tons and tons of research and also been involved in litigation regarding GMO safety. Really, really comprehensive. And yeah, some of these, I mean, like we're literally putting viral genes into plants and then eating them. And if that doesn't creep you out, there's something wrong. That should creep you out. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing to do that and then to do like extensive safety testing for 10 years. That's not happening. Yeah. All right. Laura says, I'm subscribed to Apex. I love it. Now I have the NAC, wondering if I can take them both together. Is that too much NAC? Laura, that's totally up to you if you want to do that. So I won't tell you definitively whether it's too much or not enough, but, completely up to you, really. There's no hard rule that says that one cannot exceed an exact amount of NAC. There's no, hard ruling on that. So, totally up to you if you want to do that, and also of course up to your licensed medical practitioner, wink, wink. Is Apex like the NAC in what it does for you? So yeah, as Juana, so just to answer your question, Apex glutathione is an entire system that works on glutathione production from a multitude of different angles. Your body creates glutathione, and it needs a wide variety of things to do that. NAC is one of the main building blocks of glutathione. So your body takes the cysteine in NAC, which is an amino acid, and it uses it to build glutathione, which is part of the backbone of the molecule, which involves 3 different amino acids: cysteine, glycine, and glutamine. But you need a variety of other different nutrients, such as all the things that are in here, like vitamin B2, B6, folate, B12, selenium, molybdenum. You need all of those. Alpha-lipoic acid helps you recycle glutathione, which means that it's active for longer. And then some of these other ingredients, such as bacopa and jalgulan, they actually help stimulate glutathione production as well. So Apex is going to be very, very strong and better than taking NAC by itself. But taking NAC by itself is still fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, NAC is amazing stuff. I recommend you guys stock up for more wherever you can get it, since it is disappearing forever at some point, most likely. So, all right. And on that note, I'm going to head out, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for remembering to, hit the like button. Thanks for all of your awesome questions today. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow And I'm sure I'll see most of y'all then. Thanks for being here. Much love. And as always, stay human.